Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Mokhtar. I need your help. Please, could you tell me what it means to be Malaysian for you? As you are aware, it is always the politician, either those who wield power or those who want to be in power, who have a problem with what it means to be Malaysian. Some leaders place more importance on being a Malay than to be Malaysian. Others equate eating with chopsticks with not being Malaysian. Now, why do they find it so difficult to understand what being Malaysian means? In the past 2 years, this majority Malay cabinet has lurched from one disaster to another. Perhaps the Malays and Muslims in government could do with a bit of cheering up. If the cabinet is not aware, the true Malaysian was seen in several places a few weeks ago, wading through waist-high muddy waters, helping to rescue his fellow Malaysian in flood-hit communities. There were Malaysians helping other Malaysians. Race, religion, and social class did not matter to them. The Malaysian was seen carrying babies, disabled children, and elderly people to safety. He distributed packets of nasi lemak and bottled water to people who had been stranded on the roof of buildings, some for as long as 2 days. He was directing groups of Malaysians who had assembled at approved locations to help others in distress. The Malaysian was seen comforting homeowners who wept with despair at the sight of their mud-soaked properties. And later, he would return with tools and his friends to help wash away the mud from people's homes. In the temple, the Malaysian organized groups of Malaysians who had also gathered together to prepare, cook, pack, and distribute food to the starving. He helped to rescue pet dogs and cats, and for those whose homes had been destroyed, some Malaysians opened up their homes to those needing temporary shelter. During the rescue, there was a conspicuous absence of many ministers of this bloated cabinet and the elite. Where were the senior members of the ulama, like Hadi Awang, or politicians like Nik Abdul, Nik Aziz, or Taqiyuddin Hassan, who once claimed that flooding was the work of God? Where were they? Some were on holiday overseas. Others held official functions in 5-star hotels, which they said were necessary to kick off the flood relief effort. A few were busy being stage managed and filmed, whilst they hosed down drains, shoveled earth, or posed beside donated food packs on which they had printed their own faces. One politician offloading 20-kilogram packs of rice from a lorry must have made a miraculous recovery from his recurring back problems. At least his corruption trial will not suffer further postponements from being sick. Many Malaysians, including those living overseas, helped in various ways. They volunteered or gave food, drink, clothing, money, and childcare equipment. And compare the initiative of ordinary Malaysians with the excuses offered by Ismail Sabri and the minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Special Functions, Abdul Latif Ahmad, of the National Disaster Management Agency. It was their failure to respond quickly to flood-stricken communities. There were complaints that some politicians acted like flood tourists who feared getting their feet wet. So they watched the victims from the safety and comfort of their SUVs. Reports were received that some Malays and Muslims had questioned if the donated food was halal. This is the shameful product of over 50 years of brainwashing of the Malay mind by unscrupulous politicians with their selfish agendas. So, instead of being grateful for the sacrifice of Malaysians who had donated their time, their money, equipment, and food, the ignorant Malay Muslim was more interested in the halalness of the food. Would they rather starve to death? At one time, being Malaysian used to be very easy. You were born in Malaysia. You were recognized by your ability to speak the national language. You had an easy, laid-back manner. You excelled in speaking Manglish. And as the Malaysian loved his multicultural array of food to choose from, he probably lived to eat. But nowadays, being Malaysian is unnecessarily more complicated than that. You could be born in Malaysia, but as soon as your parents registered your birth, you were then identified by your race and your religion. Division starts at the cradle and ends at the grave. Or you could be a 9th generation Malaysian, but you would still be called pendatang, illegal immigrant. Occasionally, we will come across someone from another country who learns to speak the national language like a native, who dresses like a Malay, and who adopts Malay mannerisms. But most of us react with both horror and amusement because our authorities have redefined him as Malaysian. We do not need politicians to tell us what defines us as Malaysian because we know who and what we are. And as the floods have shown, the true Malaysian is resilient and generous in spirit, and he does not wait to be asked or to be invited to help the people whose homes were devastated in the floods. Diversity leads to an understanding across cultures. It promotes respect and tolerance. Each person has a unique and positive contribution to the larger society. That is what it means to be Malaysian. And so, I ask you again, what does it mean to be Malaysian for you? Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon. If you like my videos, please press like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also visit my Patreon channel if you wish to sponsor me. Thank you.